who's going to speak with us is Beatrice Kahn. She's the Vice President of the National Council of Jewish Women and Chair of Exodus, their anti-sex trafficking initiative. And again, she's someone who I didn't know prior to working on this, but she has just jumped in with both feet and has a wonderful presentation for us. So Beatrice, if you just want to turn on your webcam and you can begin your presentation.
Okay, hi. Thank you, Sari and URI. The National Council of Jewish Women has a long history of fighting sex trafficking, going back over 100 years. Recently, NCJW again made it a national priority. Last October, we launched Exodus, NCJW's anti-sex trafficking initiative. And Sari, do you have the slides? Great, thank you. Taking to heart our history as slaves in Egypt and our belief that no one should be exploited as we once were, NCJW aims to expose this hidden and complex issue through a powerful program of public awareness, education, and advocacy. As we have experienced liberation and freedom, it is our mandate to ensure our communities and laws respond to those trapped in our midst. Everyone deserves a life free of life of freedom from sexual exploitation, coercion, and violence. And sorry, slide 2, please. Our goals for Exodus's first year include educating our communities across the U.S., building public awareness among decision makers that include law and people on the front line, such as law enforcement, doctors, teachers, clergy, working to ensure that existing laws are enforced, which you just heard how important that is from Pastor Troy, advocating at the local, state, and federal levels on new legislation that affects trafficking, and creating easy-to-use toolkits for the grassroots. Our hope is that education and awareness will build public outrage and build the will to take action against traffickers and in support of survivors. Most of what I'm going to say is available on the Exodus website, and some of it has a distinctly Jewish framework, but it's easily adaptable to any community. Feel free to download and distribute anything you can use. All we ask is that you credit NCJW for whatever we've created. On your screen, I think you can now see the Exodus landing page. And to the right are links to the resources. Sorry, can you show the Exodus, the next slide, please? The first link is called Explore the Action Kit and takes you to a summary of the ready-made, easy-to-use toolkits that are in Exodus. And what better way to inform people than a movie? So in Exodus, we have a planning guide for screening the powerful documentary Trick, which can be purchased for a reduced price from our website. There's step-by-step instructions and discussion questions to engage the audience after the screening. Similarly, the toolkit has a list of titles for an issue-themed book club, as well as event planning tips and discussion questions for 3 excellent books. Inviting a panel of those already working in your community against trafficking can enhance these and other events. Law enforcement, service providers, even NCJW members are usually eager to share their time and experience. A big component of Exodus is advocacy. We have identified 3 state laws we think every state should have as a baseline to prevent trafficking and help survivors. Exodus contains fact sheets on each of these laws and tips for introducing legislation, making appointments with legislators, and having successful meetings. And you don't have to be an expert to lobby. You merely need to be passionate and tell your story. And you'll probably find it very empowering to be part of social change that way. Exodus also contains sample sermons, letters to the editor, op-ed pieces, Facebook posts, tweets, and graphics, all there for you to adapt. There's a template for creating your action plan, tips on getting your letter to the editor published, a guide to working in partnership with others, and more. I want to highlight the program bank that's in Exodus. There, NCJW chapters, or we call them sections across the country, share their ideas and successes. Combating trafficking looks different from community to community, and the program bank provides an array of strategies that have been used in different places. One project, called Trafficking, comprises life-size cardboard silhouettes of teens with stories of how they became victims of sex trafficking. They can be placed in a public space, and there's an informative handout in several languages that goes with the installation. It's a great way to educate your community. Another project entails printing the National Trafficking Hotline number on sticky notes and giving them to people to post in public spaces. Again, the how-tos are on the Exodus site. And finally, I want to tell you about We Were Slaves. The Jewish Community Unites Against Sex Trafficking. NCJW New York section chairs the coalition and maintains the website, which has additional great resources. There are toolkits for clergy, educators, and others. And sorry if you could just give the slide that shows the web address for that. Thank you. The tools include Bible text studies, sermon ideas, survivors' testimonies, action ideas, and detailed information about how traffickers ensnare our children. Again, feel free to use anything on the site. Just credit We Were Slaves and the originator of the materials. NCJW believes that the faith-based community in general, and in our case, the Jewish voice in particular, must be heard on the issue of trafficking. Because we were slaves in Egypt, we have a familiar understanding of the degradation that accompanied slavery, and therefore cannot stand idly and watch as others are violated. Instead, we must protect the sanctity of every life created in God's image. Indeed, we're commanded to redeem that's my time. We're commanded to redeem the captive, to enforce a fair labor system, and to take care of the most vulnerable among us. Thus, trafficking demands our response. So please use the NCJW Exodus Toolkit to make an impact on this monstrous crime. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Beatrice. Really appreciate your presentation. And as you see, like, Beatrice has very easy, write out the hotline number on a sticky note and just place them places. In your resource packet, there's some ideas of, for example, hospital workers or healthcare workers, people in the hospitality industry. Those are really target places where you might run into victims of trafficking. So have these ideas in your mind. Beatrice has resources in the guide as well that take you from everything from getting legislation passed in your state, again, to the sticky notes. So it's a continuum of action, and know that there's something for everyone who's on this call and anyone who might be listening afterwards to get in.